Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this workshop about building vocabulary, incorporating new vocabulary, learning vocabulary, using this new vocabulary in our daily life-to-life activities, and of course, the most important part in our academic life. Let me start by talking about why vocabulary is important. Now, if I ask you, what do you think is more important, grammar or vocabulary? Or are they equally important? What do you think? Both.
I guess vocabulary is more important because
Where they are, yeah, go ahead.
I feel like if you have more vocabulary, you can make the other person understand, even if your grammar is incorrect. I mean,
That's true.
they are both important, but you get my point.
That's true. I totally agree with you. From my years of experience teaching, I found that vocabulary is actually a little bit, let's say, more important than grammar. Because let me give you this very simple example. Let's say, so I'm from Syria and we're very famous for our kibba, waraganab, tabbouleh, and all these delicious, yummy dishes. So let's imagine that the recipe of these delicious dishes is the grammar and the ingredients are the vocabulary. Okay, so if I keep telling you over and over and showing you and practicing with you how to cook or prepare these dishes, if you don't have the proper ingredients, you won't be able to make them. However, if you have enough ingredients to create tabbouleh, to make tabbouleh or make kibba or whatever, eventually, if you keep trying doing it, you will end up with a perfect dish with the ingredients that you have. So that's why vocabulary, ladies and gentlemen, is very, very important to learn not just English, any language. The first advice I would say to start learning new vocabulary is to read. Now, don't be disappointed here. This workshop is not about reading your vocabulary lists. It's not about reading your textbook, the course books. No, we will learn some interesting methods that we can increase our vocabulary through reading everything in life. However, what I need you to pay attention here is that reading. Now, the first things my students ask me when I tell them read, the first response I get is, Miss, I read, I don't understand. That's fine. That's okay. You are not expected to understand everything you read. Now, I guess most of us are Arabs here and we fluently speak Arabic. We know everything about grammar, nahu, sarf, i'rab. We know all these things. But imagine that, like for me, in my case, I majored in English literature. So imagine if someone gives me a research in Arabic, a research or a study in Arabic about economy or about some medicine, some kind of a trial on a certain kind of medicine. In Arabic, would I be able to understand every single word in the research? No. I'll probably face some words that are difficult for me, new for me, but do I stop and translate and try to translate these words in Arabic? No, I don't. What happens is my brain try to analyze, try to decipher these words. My brain try to understand these words without translating it because for us it is not possible to translate from Arabic to Arabic. However, when it comes to English, we shut our brains sometimes or we block information simply because, oh, I couldn't find that translation. Oh, there is no Arabic word for that word. Oh, no, that's not what's supposed to happen. It's okay to read and not understand. It's okay. We need to train our brains to figure out understand, process, analyze words in English as they are. Let me give you an example. Let's say you are, when you were in grade 1 and 2 or 2, with your science textbooks in Arabic. المنهاج تبعنا المنهاج الدولي in Arabic. The first time you studied the word التمثيل الضوئي, did anyone translate that to you? Do you remember when you were at that age? Do you remember anybody stopping? Excuse me? Okay. Do you remember anybody stopping and translating this word for you? No. Your brain just memorized it as it is, التمثيل الضوئي. And then your brain related this word to plants, food, sunlight, chloroplast, whatever. Your brain gathered all this information and made the concept of التمثيل الضوئي. Okay, so up to now, if I ask you, what is the translation of تمثيل الضوئي? You can't give me an answer. You will just tell me it's a process that plants do to create their own food or create energy, blah, 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 whatever. This is what we're actually trying to achieve in English. This is how you learn new words, not by translation, it's by trying to figure out what these words mean. Now we have an example here. And this example I always practice with my reading students. So if you look at the first part here, okay, most of the times when students start reading, and let's say we have a sentence of what, 10, 12 sentences, okay, and a sentence of 12, 15 words, and you find out, oh, 6 or 8 of half of these words I don't understand, so you block the sentence. Your brain blocks the whole paragraph because خلاص, you created an idea that I don't understand. However, you don't actually need to understand every single word in a paragraph or in a text or in an article or whatever. You need to figure it out what they mean. So if you look here I've underlined the most important points. Let's see what we mean by this. So if I start reading, I need to train my brain to look at certain words that can make sense. So I know that the paragraph is about twins, and twins fraternal means develop two separate eggs. Fertilized, same time, twins, no similar. They're not similar in physical characteristics, just like any brother or sister. Okay, 1/3 of twins. Now I have two kinds of twins. Okay, the first kind is fraternal. The second kind is identical. One single eggs developed from one single fertilized egg, share common placenta. What's the meaning of placenta? I don't care. Unlike, they have the genetic makeup, so they are similar in physical characteristics, and they're always the same sex. Okay, so what do I understand from here? I translate? No, I don't translate. I create a map in my brain, or an outline, or whatever you want to call it. Now I know. I know I have two kinds of twins. There are two kinds of twins, fraternal and identical. The fraternal is da da da, the identical is da da da. So what happens now? If I'm walking in the street or in a mall, or if I see two sisters or two brothers that look the same, they're the same sex and they look the same, this is an identical twin. But if I see two that do not, different sex and do not look like each other, these are fraternal twins. خلاص, I don't need the Arabic meaning for that. The concept is already created in my brain with English, not with Arabic. Got me there? You got what I mean? So it's not about translation, never about translation. It's about creating certain concepts in your brain in English or in Arabic. Let's look at some ways that we can actually learn new words through everyday activity in our life. If you go to a restaurant, okay, most of the restaurants now, probably like 99% of the restaurants now, have both Arabic and English version of menus, right? Okay, the first thing we do as Arabs is we jump to the Arabic. Yes, it's easier. Yes, it's less complicated. Yes, I will take less time to order. But what's the harm in reading in English first? And then, if there is something I don't understand, I can switch to Arabic. What's the harm in that? Who would judge you? Who would say, ah, she's reading both Arabic and English? No, nobody will judge you, right? Let's look at this example. For example, if you're like walking into a Burger King and you see this ad, Burger King Whopper, okay? Has anyone translated the word Whopper for you? Did you stop at any minute or any time since you started eating burger and translated what the word Whopper means? I'm pretty sure no. Right? Because every time you hear the word Whopper, you think of this big, fluffy sandwich, burger sandwich, yummy, delicious. You even like have the smell sometimes. Okay? Did you ever stop and think that Whopper means bigger than usual? If you actually look for the translation of the word Whopper in an English dictionary, you would see that it means bigger than usual. But خلاص, your brain did not translate that. Since you were a kid and you started eating Whoppers, the word Whopper in your brain is related to the concept of a delicious big burger sandwich. That's it. No translation. And then when you read ads like this, look for words. Angle, attractive, fluffed, okay? These words are always there, but we don't pay attention to them. Once we start paying attention, okay, fluffed means related to Whopper. Whopper is big. Fluffed means big, high. Okay, can I say fluffed for salad? No. Can I say fluffed for pillow? Maybe. I look up this information. Okay, through learning, by learning through context, by learning to analyze the words, believe me, the words would like be engraved into your brain. You will never forget them. Look at this. The second picture we have here, servings per container. Servings per container means I try to analyze it. 6 serving per containers. It means that each container, whatever that, a jar, a bar, or whatever, has 6 portions or 6 parts or 6 pills or whatever. So the next, so basically I've learned servings per container. So let's say I'm ordering, next time I go into a restaurant and I'm ordering onion rings. Oh, now I can ask, how many pieces per dish? Instead of how many servings per container or how many servings per dish. Okay, so read everything you encounter in your life. How much time do you spend on social media? Now, I have teenagers at home and I know. Now, to be fair, 80% of your time is spent on social media, on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram, all these accounts, right? All these posts, why not read in English? Now, I'm not saying that, no, don't read in Arabic, don't watch videos in Arabic, don't do this, no. But balance, have some, like, okay, more Arabic, but have some English, okay? These are just samples of posts that are uh, on Twitter. This is Twitter, this is TikTok, okay? Just read these little things. They would take only seconds of your time, but eventually patterns and words are repeated through certain concepts or certain context. So you will read this words, maybe this word more than 20, 50 times. Eventually your brain will analyze it without even you putting any effort, will analyze the word and will come up with the meaning of the word on its own, without the use of dictionary, without the use of any teacher or anyone to translate it with you. And through posts like this, we learn words in context. We learn words that mean certain meaning in certain context. Look here at this Twitter post, for example. I slept 10 hours last night. Absolutely. locked and loaded to a big day of hand washing and looking out of the window. This was during the COVID-19 lockdown crisis. Okay. Oh, what does this mean, locked and loaded? It's an expression. What does it mean? I go look it up. I go find it. I try to use it in context. Now, sometimes you feel like, no, I read, I don't understand. I read, it's so difficult for me. It's so frustrating for me. Why not read children's book? Children's books are very, very simple in language. However, they have the perfect grammar. They have the perfect organization. They are so easy to understand. Don't read it in public. Read it in your room. Read it at night, not even in front of your family. Okay, hide it under your pillow. Read a page every day. It won't only help your vocabulary, it will also help you recognize patterns of writing. Okay, these patterns of writing will help you later on generate your own sentences, whether in writing or whether in speaking. Now, let me know if I'm going too fast or if you have any question for me. Dictionaries. Don't just read the dictionaries. No, I don't say that I want you to read the dictionary. That's totally boring and doesn't make sense. But why not have a dictionary app on your phone? Okay? And let's use this dictionary app and like, not, I won't say interesting. I know dictionaries are not interesting, but let's use them in a beneficial way, in a way that benefit us. Okay, so a suggestion, for example, you know that your vocabulary list, each vocabulary list for level 1, let's say, goes over the period of 2 weeks. Okay, you study your vocabulary words in a way to ensure marks in quizzes and exams. But let's try a very simple, easy way. Okay, let's choose 3 words from each vocabulary list, not all the vocabulary list, just 3 words, and look it up in the dictionary. Find what else I can learn through these words. So there are basically 3 words over the period of 2 weeks. Look what I found when I looked the word number. It's just the word number, a very simple word. I learned natural number, integers, rational number, so on. So I learned numeral. Okay, keep a record of, now later on we'll discuss how to keep a record of all these words. But through learning one word, I learned other 5, 6 words. So imagine if I do it for only 3 words per week, sorry, 3 words every 2 weeks, that means I'm learning between 15 to 20 words every 2 weeks. So imagine through the year. Now, some of us are simply, I am a kind of person that I don't learn through memorizing. I learn through activities. And this is very common among this young generation. So there are, if you're not, don't want to use your vocabulary list, if you don't want to use dictionaries, if you want to stick to your Arabic posts on social media, there are, this is just a sample of some books that are only like related to vocabulary. There's no grammar, there's no these boring reading passages and all these difficult questions in them. They're simply exercises for vocabulary, and they're free online. You can download them online. They're free, they're everywhere. And these are very simple exercises. Actually, to me, this is one of my favorite books because it's all matching, fill in the place, put the right order. It has a lot of pictures. Some of us are learners like this. We learn through practice, not through memorizing. Or some of us learn through audio. Some of us learn through pictures. It's just that you need to know how what's best for you to remember, and then apply the proper method for you to learn new vocabulary. Now, this is a website that I really like. to increase your vocabulary. It also helps you in your reading, increase the fluency of reading, and helps you even answer questions like the summary, what's the summary of the passage, what's the main idea, what's true, what's false, what's an opinion, what's a fact. Let's take a look at this website, what you can, I don't know if you know it, but let's take a look at what's happening here. Okay, so as you can see, you can log in, it's free. There's no charge there. What I like about this website is that you can choose the grade. You can choose the reading passage according to your grade. So if you feel like I'm really weak, okay, I'll go to grade 1 or 2. Okay, so first of all,
Pictures of the Year by Rochelle Kreisman. People today take lots of photos.
so there is reading and listening. You can read and listen at the same time. So let's say you are in the car on your way, driving to work, driving to college, you're in your bed, you're sitting there waiting for your order or whatever. Play the audio or play and read at the same time. And then what's nice about it is that some of them, now this one doesn't have, but some of them have vocabulary, words. Uh, Sometimes they're divided into steps like reading 1, reading 2, and you have questions. These you can answer the question and it gives you the right answer if you want to figure out if your answers were wrong or correct. And of course you can have you can see the ebook, you can read the book. It's very, very interesting and very, very, very helpful. I've seen students actually improve through websites like this. Okay. Now, how many of you, if I ask you now, how many of you have your mobiles in Arabic? Most of the students I see in level 1, when they first come, most of them, their mobiles are in Arabic and they keep them in Arabic through all the levels I meet them. But why? Just because it's easier for you in Arabic? Have you ever tried to put it in English? Please put it in, if your mobile is in Arabic, put it in English now. You will learn a lot, believe me. Okay, let's say like we have settings, phone settings. Okay, I already know what phone settings mean in Arabic. But phone settings, can I say restaurant settings, the hotel settings, the whatever the classroom settings? Yes, I can say that because settings mean the way everything is arranged and organized. Okay, I now see ما عاد عندي مكالمة فائتة. I have missed calls. Missed calls meaning the calls I couldn't attend, the calls I couldn't answer. Can I say the missed class? Yes, I can say that. Can I say the missed exam or the missed quiz? Yes, I can say that. So it teaches you certain words that you can actually use in your life. And believe me, if you start reading, now this is not just in theory, believe me, you need to just try it and see. If you read 15 minutes a day, just 15 minutes, and that I'm saying including your textbooks and vocabulary list, over a year you would read 1 million words. Now, let's be very, very stingy and we say that you've learned only 1% of these million words. Only 1%. 1% of 1 million is 10,000. So in 1 year, you would learn 10,000 words. 10,000 words is not a small number. It's actually a huge number when it comes to learning a new language. What can I do beside reading? Listening. We can listen. Listen is as important as reading. So what can we listen to? We can listen to audiobooks. They're all over the internet. We have podcast, Audible. This is one of my favorite. This is the one I actually use. My hobby is reading. I love reading, but unfortunately, I have a very, very busy life. So sometimes I don't have to read. I don't have time to read. So I use this app. It's called Hi Books. I don't know why it's not showing. It's called Hi Books. You can find all sorts of books there. But what's nice about it, and why I always recommend it to my student, is because the books there, as I told you, they have a variety of books varying from mystery novels, drama, self-improvement, languages, everything. You can find everything there. Okay, but what's nice about it is that each book is divided into many chapters, and the chapters are just each chapter is just 2, 3, maximum 7 minutes long. So what I usually advise my students to do is don't listen to the whole book. You don't need to listen to the whole book if you don't understand it. Choose a book at least that interests you. Whatever your interest is, drama, mystery, science fiction, horror even, it doesn't matter. Assign a chapter per week. During this week, listen to this chapter just once or twice. No need to listen to it like the whole day. No, just once or twice. But before you listen to this chapter, ask anyone who's fluent maybe in English, like better English than yours, or ask your teachers. I always do this for my students. For each chapter, I write 3 or 4 questions. Like, what did Mr. X do? Why was Mrs. Y scared? Just simple questions. Read these questions before you listen to the chapter. So what we're trying to establish here is that we're trying to make our brains, nobody's going to ask you to find the answer. Nobody's going to grade these answers for you. No, it's just training your brain to listen for purpose. Because when our brain listens for purpose, our brain analyzes the text or the audio or whatever. Because we're listening, we're looking for certain information. Okay? Listen to it. Believe me, after a while, you will start repeating the chapter as fluently as the narrator, the person who's saying it. You will use chunks of the language, like parts of the sentence structure that was used in the chapter. This is how babies, or let's say toddlers, learn English or even Arabic, right? Have you ever wondered how these 3, 4 years old children can speak English so fluently without even going to school, without even learning English? Because they don't study grammar, they don't study vocabulary. No, they listen to their brains remember chunks of the language, parts of sentences, and they start repeating these sentences because they learn it from like movies, cartoons, even listening to their family. They learn the proper English, the correct grammar, the correct order of the words in the sentence, and they produce the same thing they learned. So it's like tricking our brain when we do this audio listening over and over again. It's like tricking our brain into memorizing, but we're not actually telling I'm here to memorize this audio. No, I'm not here to memorize. I'm here looking for certain answers. But with the repetition, my brain memorizes chunks of or parts of the sentence structure. What about YouTube? You're always on YouTube. I know that. As I told you, I have teenagers at home, and I know that they're always on YouTube. YouTube, listen, look at this, what I found searching for vocabulary. Look what I found on YouTube. Can you hear the audio?
Yes, we can.
Yes, yes,
Yes, yes, yes, we can.
yes.
Yes, yes, we can.
A home, or domicile, is a living space used as a permanent or semi-permanent residence for an individual, family.
So this is the audio, and look, it's just 1 minute 20 seconds. 1 minute 20 seconds of your time. But again, I'm going to show you, I'm not going to listen to the whole 1 minute 20 seconds. Look what I'm doing. When you scroll down, you have the script, the words that are actually said in the audio. Okay, do I find anything new? With the first sentence. Yeah, oh, domicile. Home, a synonym is domicile. Okay, so this is what I'm interested in. This is a new word for me. So I would listen over and over to the same
Is a
sentence.
living space used as a permanent or semi-permanent residence for an household or several families in a tribe. It is
Take this sentence, cut this sentence, cut the audio. I know you have your like so creative ways in cutting audios. Cut this audio, listen to the sentence over and over again. Look at this sentence. It has domicile, it has permanent, it has semi-permanent, residence, individual, family, household, and so on up to tribe. It has so many interesting words that are not, these are not words that we use in our everyday life, if you know what I mean. Okay, I was looking for this when I was teaching that chapter in level 1 about home. What does home mean? I think it was chapter 5 or 4, I don't remember. Okay, so it's just 1 minute 20 seconds. Imagine if you listen to this just for 1 week, and let's say skip weekends, 5 days a week. Eventually this sentence will be memorized without you even noticing. And the next time you write about home, you will generate the same exact correct grammar and pattern. You will even use the same grammar and the same pattern to define other words, like what is e-learning, what is a closet, you will generate the same correct sentence. So it's not only helping you with vocabulary, it helps you with grammar, and eventually you are able to communicate, you are able to write and speak at the same time. And this is also a very well-known website, TED Talks. It also has a lot of audio. Okay, what about Netflix? Don't tell me you don't know what Netflix is. Don't tell me that you don't spend a lot of time on Netflix. All of us are on Netflix, okay? But why not in Netflix? Instead of the Arabic subtitles, we use the English subtitle. Why not? Okay, why not do with Netflix the same thing we can do with the audiobooks? Assign an episode every day, or even a movie. Assign 10 minutes of that movie every day. Ask someone to write questions for you. And keep listening to that 10 minutes or that episode every day. Even if you're cooking, even if you're eating, just put the headphones in your ears and listen. Yeah, even if you are sitting with your family, having coffee, enjoying time, put one headphone in one ear and enjoy the rest of the conversation. Your brain subconsciously will learn, definitely will learn. Because the golden rules, ladies and gentlemen, is listening while reading or reading while listening, because our brains will process the information or the words in two different ways, visually and through the audio. So it doesn't matter if you are what kind of learner you are, your brain has it all. Khalas, you have no excuse. Learn these words, right? Now, after we learn all these words, what do? Khalas, we learned them, we listened, we're done? No, we're not done. We need to be dedicated. We need to like assign tasks for ourselves. If we need to learn the language, if you want to learn new vocabulary, at least write down a vocabulary word you've learned through all these ways. Listening, social media posts, even a word, if you like learned a new word through a flyer posted at your door. Doesn't matter. Whatever new word you learn, make yourself an organizer, a book for learning. So let's say today you learned the word dense. Okay, word dense is an adjective. Fine. What do? I write the synonyms, I write the meaning, I write the antonym, and I use it in a sentence. Now, this is one problem that I always tell my students, be aware of. This is not how you learn vocabulary. When you write the sentence, don't just say, the wall is dense. Doesn't make sense, right? You need to use the word in a sentence that gives meaning to the word. So look here, for example, this example, the forest is very dense, so I could barely see. Ah, okay, now it's clear. It means that the trees, the trees in the forest were very thick. So dense means thick. Okay, so if you do this one word every day, how long would it take you? 2-3 minutes to write all this? 2-3 minutes of your day. But how many words did I learn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 words a day. Imagine throughout the year. You can also do some kind of flashcards. This is an app I have on my phone. I personally have on my phone. I create my own flashcards. So this word is from one of our vocabulary lists of level 1. These are the synonyms in the vocabulary list. I am a person who learns visually. I need to see things so I can remember. For example, I get bored with an audio lecture. I get bored. I don't concentrate. So I put a picture for myself, reminding myself that global means something related للكرة الأرضية. Now this app, it's called flashcard. That's how it's called, flashcards. Okay, you can create the front and the back of the flashcard. At the flashcard, I put the word in a sentence related to my chapter. Fast food is becoming global, and there is no harm in writing the definition in Arabic or the meaning in Arabic if it helps you. But what's nice about this app is that it puts the flashcards together like a deck of cards. Okay, and you can just scroll through the flashcards whenever you're free. If you're in the car, if you are waiting in a line, like at the cashier or something, just scroll over the cards. Now, هتقولي, Miss, you told us no memorizing. You are not memorizing. So let's say you wrote this flashcard today. Tomorrow you write another flashcard. So tomorrow when you write the second flashcard, go over the first flashcard. It's going to take 2-3 seconds of your time, that's it. And the next day, and the next day, and the next day. You create your own time periods, okay? So let's say you've decided that I'm going to write one flashcard every day for a whole month. What happens at the end of the month is that the first couple of cards you've read at least 30 times. Don't tell me that your brain will not memorize them. They will be, as I said before, engraved in your brains. You will see that when you're like at the end of the month, when you go back to the first couple of cards you've created or couple of papers you've created, خلاص, I know them. Okay, it's repetition, ladies and gentlemen. It's repetition that makes everything perfect. And I've seen it, believe me, I've seen it a lot of times. I've been teaching in KSAU for over 10 years now. I've seen students who are fluent in English, who speak like native speakers, but they still make mistakes in vocabulary questions, in synonym questions, because simply like, oh, I know this word, I don't need to repeat it. Oh, everything in this vocabulary list, I know all the words, I don't need to repeat it. No, you need to repeat it, because repetition is the mother of learning and the father of action. So repetition is very important. That's why it's the architect of accomplishment. So always review these words, review them, no matter where you got them from. You don't need to read your textbook. You don't need, but كده, I opened the door and there is a flyer at my door from Carrefour. It says smartphone. Put down smartphone. Put it in a flashcard or put it in the organizer here I just showed you. What's the synonyms for smartphone? Use smartphone in a sentence. Find if you can find antonyms. What parts of speech? What can I use? Smart is used for a device. Can I say smart card? Yes. Can I say smart house? Yes, smart house actually means something. I Google it. This is how we learn, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we create. You are creating your own vocabulary lists, but in a fun way that you prefer to learn. I hope all these ideas were like beneficial for you. I hope I benefited you somehow, and I'm always open for questions. If you have any questions.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
What is the difference between resources and sources?
What's the difference between resources and?
Sources. Without the re.
Okay, so did you find the meaning for that?
No, I just saw your presentation and I saw the word resources, so I was curious to ask.
So let's try to apply these methods
Okay.
that we've learned. So what's the meaning? Do you have a dictionary app on your phone?
No, but I have Google.
Okay. No, but not Google Translation though.
Okay.
Okay. Let's try to find it.
A place, a person, or thing from which something originates.
That's what?
That's source.
Source. Okay.
Uh, Resources, a stock or supply of money, materials, staff, and other assets that can be drawn on by a person or organization in order to function effectively. I think
Okay.
they are not related.
They're not actually, like, sometimes people confuse them, okay, but they're like words. Source is, just like you said, it's the origin of something. Resource is where you get your supplies from. So now you've learned two words. Put them for me in a sentence.
Uh,
What's your source of information?
Google.
Okay, so put it in a sentence.
Uh, when I finished the presentation, I put my sources in the last slide.
Okay. You put your sources or your resources?
My sources.
Okay. Type, let's put resources in a sentence.
I don't know if I can.
Okay, so I can say, when I'm looking for meanings or for definitions of word, my source where the information generates is Google, for example. Okay, but the teacher put the resources where she got the information, the supply of the information. The teacher put the resources at the end of her presentation. So now you've learned 2 words and you've used these 2 words in in sentences. Now you need to go again in Google. That's not a problem. Although when you Google, look for dictionaries like Merriam-Webster, Oxford dictionaries. Look for trusted dictionaries and look for parts of speech of sources or resources. Look for antonyms. Look for how they're used in different sentences. Okay, so today you've learned 2 different new words, sources and resources. Put them down and build on that. You will be surprised how much you learn.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
While watching an episode, is it better to watch it with English subtitle or without subtitle at all? I can understand.
If you understand, let's say 70% of what's said, that's fine. Okay. Sometimes some of us, the way this, or it depends also sometimes on the show or on the movie. Sometimes the audio is too fast for us if we're not that fluent in English. Reading is sometimes easier than listening if the language is difficult. Okay. However, it depends on what kind of, as I said, what kind of learner you are. If you're comfortable learning, but again, you while listening, you need to spot words. It's just not listening. Okay. With this sentence, like if I go back here, okay, I can see that this subtitle says it's terribly mutilated. Okay, if you can spot the word mutilated by listening, and believe me, write it down the way you hear it. You don't need to look for the spelling. Later on, you look for the spelling. But if this word is very like, oh, I need to learn this word, write it down and keep watching. Don't stop. Once you're done, find out the spelling, find out the meaning, and put this word down. Whether you've learned it by listening or if you learned it through subtitles. Does that answer your question? So it's like saying there is no best way. Just use the way that is you feel comfortable with. The most important part is that I'm comfortable with this technique. I'm comfortable with this method. Whatever is suitable for you. And Sabaya, ladies and gentlemen, always ask your teachers for help. I know, I mean, all of the teachers I know are more than willing to help students. It's just sometimes it's just that sometimes you don't ask for help. Okay, we don't know what you actually need. Ask us. There is no harm in saying, teacher, I don't have enough vocabulary. Teacher, I'm weak at this point. Teacher, I'm weak in grammar. I'm weak there. Ask your teachers for help. They have lots of, these are just some of the ideas I have. Most of us teachers have loads and loads of ideas to help you, but you need to ask for help.
Doctor, I have a question if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, sometimes I try to learn more vocab words, but the problem is that the more I learn, the more I forget the vocab itself. But if someone asks me and say, what is the meaning of this vocab? I know the meaning, but I can't forget. I can't remember the vocab itself.
So yeah, think I know what you mean. What you mean is you know the word, you've studied the word, but when it comes to actual, like when you need the word, it doesn't come from your brain, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you are not learning the word in context. Yani, you are not learning the word through a sentence. You're learning the word by itself, صح?
Exactly.
So when you learn the word through context, the word, when you, like, let's say, let me give you an example. So let's say the skill, she has 20 years of experience, okay,
Okay.
in teaching language, for example. ماشي. The word experience here is in context, okay? When the same context comes, you're talking to someone and they're talking not about teaching, but they're about talking about their like experience in cooking, experience in whatever. The context is itself is there. Oh, fulan fulani has been working there, doing this for over 15 years. Ah, he has experience. You know what I mean by learning through context?
Yeah, you mean learning, for example, learning by learning as a sentence or a
As a
phrase.
sentence, yes, as part of a language.
So learning a word by itself is unbeneficial, can we call it? Not beneficial.
Yes. Say, from my experience, I would say you learn the words, and this happens with a lot. This is why I'm saying from my experience, because I've seen it with our students. They learn the words, they get full marks. A couple of weeks later, they're writing an assignment about the same topic. Sabaya, where are the vocabulary words you learned? Nothing is there. They forgot everything because they're memorizing these words for a certain purpose, which is to get marks. They're not learning these words to be able to generate them.
Yeah, you're right, exactly. Thank you so much, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Miss, I
you.
have a
Yes.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sometimes there are questions asked about what is the meaning of some vocab from the context. So I confuse between read all the passage or read the paragraph in the same vocab. It's tell the meaning, and sometimes the answers I don't know the meaning. So I confused. What should I do?
Here you need to look, this is what I meant by saying look at patterns. I don't know if we have time. Do we have time? Um, Miss Ala, do we have time?
Yes, we have.
Okay, let me show you something. When you read, you need to look for patterns. Okay, this is what I mean. For example, this is an example. This is a passage from your level 1 books. Throughout human history, people have needed protection. So let's say I came to protection and I didn't know what protection means. Type. This is reading through the context. Protection. Type. Why was this protection mentioned? It was mentioned immediately before elements like wind, rain, storms, cold, sun. Okay, not really clear. Before they discovered how to build structures, human being shelters in trees. So protection in trees provided protection from extreme weather, insects, wild animals. Ah, now I know. Protection is something to keep me safe from extreme weather, wild animals, and other dangers. So protection is somehow the opposite of danger. This is how I analyze the idea. Mostly your problem, Sabaya, is you try to translate. Stop translating. Figure out the meaning from the word. This is how you, let me see if I can find another word. Yeah, look here. Finding the meaning of the word shelter. Now, shelter is repeated throughout this paragraph, and every time shelter is mentioned, there is an explanation. Shelter, build structures, human beings, shelter, trees, shelter, feel at home, caves, human arranged branches on top of on top of one another to make themselves places to live. So shelter is every time it's mentioned, there is home, caves, place to live. So shelter means a place to live, or shelter could mean home, or shelter could mean any safe place. Got me? So there are different, even in shelter, if you go to the dictionary, look shelter. In dictionary, there are a lot of meanings. Not just one meaning, not just one synonyms, many synonyms, many meanings for the word shelter. But what I'm looking for is the meaning here. Shelter, protection, so it's a place where you feel safe. Got me? Does this answer your question?
Yes, it's the answer. But sometimes I don't know what is the meaning of the answers. So I'm confused, and that's happened to me a lot of times. And I don't know what is the meaning of the word that's in the question. I don't know the meaning of the answers sometimes.
Yeah, that's I'm with you there. Sometimes the meaning is confused. The meaning when you don't know the meaning of the answers, or the answers themselves are not, but usually, to be honest, the answers are from the text. Yani when we choose the answers for the questions, the answers are from the text, okay? But again, this is where you need to improve your vocabulary. It means you know how, you know the skill, you know how to look, find the meaning, you are able to recognize the patterns and everything. But just like I said when I gave the example about kibbe and tabbouleh, you don't have enough vocabulary. So that's a sign for you to start building up your own vocabulary. And believe me, by level 2, you level 1, I think, by level 2, you would be impressed with the progress you would achieve.
Okay, thank you, Miss.
You're welcome. Any other questions? I know by now you think, go ahead, sorry.
How do you finish? How do we finish?
Yeah, I guess so if you don't have any questions. I just wanted...
Well, I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
When you talked about repetition, for how long should I repeat words?
Until you
because
feel...
it's getting harder a day by another.
No, it's not getting harder every day. It's getting easier every day. Because you know why?
You're learning
As I
new
said...
words.
Huh?
I said you are learning new words. So
Yes.
basically it's getting harder.
So let's say, let me give you an example. So let's say you have decided that I am going to create every 30 days, I will create a set of flashcards of a set of, or these organizers. Oh, come on. Okay, you're creating a set of these organizers or these flashcards for 30 days. This is according to what you've decided. Okay, so you start day 1, you write the first word, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 7. If you keep going through these words, by day 7 or 8, day 1 word is already memorized. And day 8, day 1 and 2 is already memorized. So what you're doing is you're actually memorizing words as you go, and these memorized words are dropping from your vocab set, let's say. You get what I mean?
Yeah, but maybe this apply when you're learning 1 or 2 words. What if I learn 10 to 20 words a day?
You don't need to learn 10 or 20 words a day. It's just one word. Start with one word. See how good you're doing. See how fast, or like what's the rate of your to memorize. Okay, some of us need like 2-3 days. By the third or the fourth day, the first word is already memorized. Okay, some of us know we need 10-15 days. Study at your own pace. Okay, there is no rush. Nobody's gonna mark you, nobody's gonna judge you. You're doing this for your own good. So let's say I don't want 30 days, 30 words. No, I want every other day I will write a word. That's fine. That's fine, because at the end of the year or at the end of the semester, let's say, a minimum, you will have gained a minimum of 100 or 200 words in context. These are words that you choose for yourself. These are words that your brain is interested in. These are not words in your vocabulary list. These are not the boring, dull words that we study in our course. No. These are fun words that were interesting to me. That's why I put them down. Just try it. Don't say it's difficult. Just try it and see how it goes.
Okay, okay. And how will I know that these words now are stuck in my mind and I will be able to use them while speaking or writing?
You would know, because if you are able to say them, so you would know that these words are actually there. They're there, I can use. So you need to practice. See, English is all integrated. Vocabulary, grammar, writing, speaking. I always tell my students, don't, like, grammar class has a chamber in your brain. Writing class has another chamber. Reading class has another chamber. Open these walls. Integrate everything together. Use the grammar in writing. Use the vocabulary in grammar. Use everything together. Once you start practicing, you will learn. Oh, yeah, this is a word I wrote there. Okay. Ah, I know. Dense, the opposite of dense is thin. I can use this. I can rephrase my writing to say, like, the book was thick. I can say the book was not thin, and so on.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Miss, I have a question.
Yes, dear.
When I use the flashcards method, I don't really memorize them. I just read them, right? Every day.
Yeah, you don't memorize them. You read them every day. Yeah, today you wrote word 1, tomorrow you write word 2. So tomorrow you read word 1 and word 2, and so on. Okay? Once you feel like word 1, 2, 3 are already memorized, okay, hide them, put them away. Later on, you will see, like, when you go back to the hidden words, oh, for God's sake, I've memorized 50 words. I've memorized 100 words so far. But again, sentences are very important. Using these words in sentences is the most important part. So no memorizing, just repetition, just repeat. Anything else? Any other questions? Anything about vocabulary, not just slide. Yeah.
Yes, I have a question, Miss.
Yes.
As you know, we have read just list every week. We should memorize it in reading.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have another idea how to memorize it and not forget it at all?
Do you mean the vocabulary list, our vocabulary list?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was saying. When you study the vocabulary list, you study like this. This word, synonym, part of speech, or suffixes, prefixes. So let's say you study develop, كده انتوا كده بتدرسوها. Develop, يطور. Development, developer, and then you study the synonym. No, this is studying for marks. This is studying for the quiz. When I study these words, I put them in the same context like this. This is how these words stick to your brain. Again, to be fair, these are long lists to create organizers like this. That's why I said when you do your vocabulary list here, okay, just choose 3. This is just a suggestion. You can do 5, you can do 10, whatever it suits you. Okay, again, at your own pace. But let's start with only 3 words per vocab list. And do an organizer for them. Do a flashcard. I've seen girls even record the vocabulary list, record them, and listen to them on their way. And it's an effective way, because these girls, or this girl in particular, memorizes through listening. So I remember she used to ask the fluent girls, like English speaking fluent girls in her class, to record the information. Develop means developer, put it in a sentence. My father developed and so on. Okay, and she like all of them together in one voice note. And she keeps listening to them. She always got full marks on her vocab quizzes. Again, would she be able to use them in sentences, like actual speaking? That I don't know. But I know that she found her own way to study these words. But again, put them in sentences that are that have meanings. Okay, the context is there. The sentence that explains that vocabulary word in the list.
Okay, thank you. I got it.
You're welcome.